Elite Dangerous is a game that came out in 2014, a sequel to the 1984 game Elite. Elite was a trailblazer, one of the first, if not the first, open-ended games out there, created primarily by David Braben and Ian Bell. Braben would go on to found Frontier Developments, which actually owns for Elite Dangerous, while Ian went on to live his own life. If you'd like to know more about the burning hellfire nightmare that has caused, look elsewhere. We're talking about the Elite Dangerous RPG released in 2018 after a complicated Kickstarter by Spider-Mind Games. You, yes you, take the role of a hotshot space on a quest to save... Whoa, sorry, wrong game. You play as a space trucker. Sort of. The game itself is a D10 plus modifier system, with one of the most bizarre inclusions of 1s being complete utter failures and 10s being complete mega successes. With that, you have a plethora of skills, a total of 37, from culture and law to fighting, and 4 kinds of weapons, and the often forgotten trading skill. Each of these skills is assigned a score out of 100, but Notepad, I hear you say, isn't this a D10 game? And it is, but, well, the only relevant value of this score is actually just the tens place for the raw bonus you'll receive for it. Having a 32 in trading isn't 32, it's technically just a +3. When you advance, you'll be gaining a point in any used skills for that adventure. Alright, what do we start with then, huh? Each character will have 4 backgrounds, which grant a small selection of skills and abilities. In total, each of these backgrounds will equal around +50, spread across about 4 attributes, or +30 and an enhancement, which acts as a raw perk. Certain choices take up 2 backgrounds, but still give you 100 points to spend. Now, some of these are pretty standard. Anarchist, Army, Docking Bay Operative, Frontier Trader, Fighter Pilot, pretty understandable, but then there are the stranger ones like Community Youth Worker, Martial Artist, Monk, Secondhand Spaceship Dealer, and Gym Freak. No restrictions of what is and is not available, it is entirely possible to play a martial art gym freak detective, or a minor politician monk martial artist, or a fighter pilot fuel rat martial artist, or even a cyborg accountant martial artist. Now, what did I mean by and a half up there? Well, every character will have the pilot trained background for free, as almost an afterthought that this is a space trucker RPG. Dealing how a starting character has a cap to their skills of 40, it is actually possible for you to lose value on certain career choices, as being too good at something simply breaks the game. After that, you'll get a few standard points to spread around, and voila, your character is almost done. You're then going to have to worry about your karma abilities. These karma abilities are pretty much your superpowers, which grant you one-time bonuses or effects should you spend the holy resource of karma points on them. Karma points aren't infinite, and you'll need to rest to recover them, but you'll always have things such as Fire in the Hold, which allows you to reroll your grenades, or Get Me Out of Here, which grants you a +4 bonus anytime you're using a disengage check on a vehicle. Everyone also has the access to the Escape Death karma move, which has you escape death for free, but consumes all your karma. Now that we have characters set up, the rest of the game is pretty simple. That core mechanic applies to the 3 main fields of existence: pilots, spaceships, and vehicles. Pilot skill combat really does boil down to weapon skill versus difficulty to hit plus defense rating of the enemy, making certain situations really difficult to hit one another simply due to the small range of combat values. One of the stranger notes is that the game does actually account for both map and mapless combat in quite detail, forcing it to share the same page space with one another quite often. And speaking about space combat is broken into 3 main phases of using equipment, recharging shields, and combat actions. Taking place on an abstracted map of 3D space in 2 sections, the pilots will be duking it out for supremacy of the stars. There is quite a bit of options in these space battles, from jousting, dogfighting, or taking pot shots from the rear. Spaceship combat is very interesting, except for one little detail. These are elite ships, individual 1 to 3 crew size ship. Each player will have access to all of these options, which individual enemies also have access to these. Unless you're prepared, these things are going to be really goddamn long to resolve itself. This isn't even factoring in the fact that every single ship has its own designs, weapons, and various other factors which influence its fighting ability. What about vehicle combat? It's space combat, but worse. Both ships and vehicles actually have separate character sheets to worry about, but also can explode easily with just a few bad hits. Combine that with a hellishly expensive equipment list, and voila, you have Elite Dangerous, the tabletop role-playing game. So what's the final verdict? I think the game has a lot of interesting beats and ideas to it, some clearly inspired ones and some fun bits to it. The sector creation guidelines are pretty detailed and decent, which can generate some good stuff. The system is a smidge wonky, that makes me a little bit less excited to deal with it. The split in game modes feels a little bit awkward as well, which leads me to its greatest issue of simply having a lot of stuff in it that should already be accounted for in the system. I don't want an extensive ground vehicle combat rules. I'm a goddamn space trucker. Why is the trading system locked behind the back of the GM section? Why won't you let me trade in the game? So yeah, I'm a little bit of an elephant in the room. Traveler also exists, and it has more stuff, and you can find supplements for almost everything, and it has more content, a stronger system, lots of community support, and has the advantage of being able to run the elite setting in all its strangeness. It's an unfortunate, if venerable, rival. My name is Notepad, and this was Elite Dangerous TTRPG. If you like what I do here, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you to the Space Trucker Federation for funding my long haul to Ganymede. See you later, Space Cowboys.